Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we'll check in with the Ames Police Department. My guest today is Officer Steve Spoon with the Ames Police Department. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved in police work?
Well, before I came to the city of Ames, I was in the Navy, and my wife's brother is a police officer in the city of Winterset. And when I was going to get out of the Navy, my wife suggested that this would be something that I would like to do, and I looked into it further. I went to school, I took some ride-alongs, and, well, one thing led to another, and here I am.
And Ames is a relatively safe city, all things considered, but we do have some things that come up a lot with our demographics, our audience, some things that maybe other cities don't deal with this as much, and this is a busy time of year for police officers. Tell me a little bit about some summer safety.
With summer coming up, we have the 4th of July holiday that's going to come up here in a couple weeks. We have fireworks and things like that. Fireworks are illegal here in the state of Iowa. There's also a city ordinance preventing the exploding of them. It's a $50 fine if you're caught lighting fireworks off here in the city. And it's not safe. You can cause fires if they hit houses and things like that. So it's just not a good idea to have people lighting them off.
I guess we should remind people that there is a great City of Ames fireworks display that's hosted by the Young Professionals of Ames. That is on Friday, July 3rd. So really, people don't need their own fireworks.
That's true.
There are things like sparklers, snakes, those kinds of activities that children and young adults do like to partake in. Those are legal, but they can be a little bit dangerous.
The sparklers particularly, I mean, they burn really hot, and they can cause fire and burns, and I've seen kids be burned. I've seen fires started by them, small grass fires, things like that. So it's definitely something that kids will enjoy, but they definitely need to have adult supervision.
Now, you're a member of the Safe Neighborhoods team?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that concept. It's fairly new in Ames, and it was, I think, the idea of public outreach and getting police officers out into neighborhoods.
We are a group of 5 officers. There's 4 officers and then 1 sergeant. We go to all the community events, Special Olympics, most of the block parties. Anytime there's a social gathering of people that they want to request us to come and talk to them. We talked about different community issues, neighborhood issues, any specific problems that they have. And we try to make solutions and get the communities to join together with us to help solve their problems before they get bigger or they're just get out of control.
Well, obviously, it's a great opportunity to connect with residents. And for residents, it's really a nice idea that they have a face and a name together, somebody that they could call if they have a question or have an issue that they want to discuss. I don't know that people really believe that police officers are interested in anything that you notice that's out of the ordinary. I would think, oh, I don't need to bother you, you're really busy. But it turns out you really do want that information.
We go to a lot of, like I said, the community events. We've been to the art walk. There's nothing bad happening at the art walk most of the time. We're out there just to talk to people. People can come up and ask us questions. We may not have the answer, it may not be a black and white answer that we can answer right there on the spot, but there's always something that we can get back to them later. Sometimes we hear about problems when we go to a certain neighborhood and we're sitting in our squad car, somebody comes up and he says, hey, we've noticed this for however long. Well, why haven't you called? Well, we didn't want to bother you. Mm-hmm. Well, you're not bothering us. We're here to serve the community of Ames, and we need to create that connect between us and the community so they feel like, hey, I've seen him before. He's told me I should come talk to him, and they can come up and talk to us anytime they want.
Sure. I know recently in different parts of town we had some car vandalism, and it seems to me that that's the kind of, if you've noticed something unusual or saw something, that might be a way that some of those cases are solved.
Yes, a lot of times at night there's only a few of us on, a handful. We can't be everywhere at once. There's a lot of people, especially during the summer months, they're out on bikes, they're out on their skateboards, they're out just walking around because it's nice out. It was beautiful out last night until the rain moved in, and there were dozens of people that we came across, just riding around on their bikes and things like that. Well, unfortunately, this time of year, it's nice. there are going to be people out there that are up to illegal activity. They're out there peeping in windows, vandalizing cars, burglarizing cars and homes. And if somebody sees somebody out snooping through their parking lot or in their neighborhood that they just don't think they belong there, they should call us and we'll come and check it out.
So Steve, if somebody does want to call and give you some information, what number should they call?
They should call our non-emergency number. It's 239-5133. That's for anything that's just out of the usual. If you have an actual emergency, you need to call 911.
So we talk about being a university community. We have a lot of people in this city that are under 25 years old. Does that create some special challenges for police officers?
Anybody that works in a college community would tell you that age bracket between 18 and 24 is the majority of the people that we deal with. We definitely go out into the college community. We go to all the fraternities and sororities. We hold alcohol talks. We talk to thousands of kids a year about the responsible use of alcohol and responsible partying. You know, people would like to say that, oh, the cops hate parties. That's their favorite thing to do is bust parties. It's really not. It's just somebody has complained 99% of the time about the party. And it's usually because it's became a nuisance party. There's either they're violating the noise ordinance, they have underage drinking going on, or other illegal activity that constitutes it being a nuisance party.
So nuisance party, I hear that phrase a lot. It really sort of encapsulates things like noise, littering, drinking, all those things that really suggest you're not being a good neighbor.
That's true. And we've always promoted being good neighbors, and that's anywhere in the community. Wherever you live, you probably have neighbors, and you need to have a relationship with them where you can have the quality of life that you want, but you're still being respectful of the people right next door that have to live right near you.
It really is easier if you can just go over and tell your neighbor to turn it down rather than having to call the police. I mean, it's kind of better for everybody.
I think it is, and a lot of people, you know, when we go and we're knocking on their door and they're like, well, nobody said anything to us. They're like, well, why didn't they come and tell us? Well, a lot of times they don't know who you are. And that creates anxiety and things like that between the neighbors because you don't know who they are, you don't know how they're going to react, and sometimes they don't react very pleasant. They shut the door in your face and they continue on with their business until we show up. But I think a lot of times, and the majority of the cases, if you kind of preemptively go over and say, hey, we are going to have a party tonight or a gathering, we're going to have a barbecue, my friends are going to be here late, let us know if we're bothering you. I think that goes a long way with solving the problem before the law enforcement is ever involved.
Well, and that's great advice. It is not just directed at young people. It's really any neighborhood any neighbor that's having a get-together having a high school graduation party or a birthday party. It's just the common sense thing to do, to let your neighbors know that you having people over, it might be loud, and let you know if there's a problem.
That's true.
Yeah. 4th of July is coming up. We talked about safety. One other thing you mentioned, a lot of people out on their bikes, on their skateboards. That can be a little dangerous at night.
Yes, it is. We do have an ordinance here in town that you're required to have a white light on the front of your bike. You're required to have a red light or a reflector on the rear of your bike just to make you a little more visible. So just to be careful when you're driving around town because, like I said, we're a community that runs 24/7, so there's always somebody out riding around.
Yeah, so just be observant and aware that there may be kids or people on bikes or anything out at all different hours. And it has been pleasant out, so it is nice to get out and exercise.
It is.
Well, Steve, thanks for stopping by. I know this is a busy time of year. It's a busy time for everybody. I appreciate the tips.
Yeah, no problem.
Again, if you want more information about the 4th of July, remember that is coming up. Remember the fireworks will be Friday, July 3rd this year in Ames. Those we set off from near Jack Trice Stadium, and you can find lots of great places to view those. Follow that up on Saturday, July 4th with the Community Pancake Breakfast held in front of City Hall from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. And top off your 4th of July with the 4th of July Parade at 11 a.m. That's in downtown Ames. That information is available on our website at cityofames.org. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.